The Newsday continues here on One News Now Business. I'm Diego Castro. Here are the biggest stories on the economic and corporate fronts. During this year's Business World Economic Forum, the DICT vowed to continue to push for improvements in the digital space to attract more investments into the country and boost the private sector's growth. But for the country's leading lender, the concept of mixing physical and digital efforts is still ideal to reach marginalized sectors. More in this report by Pamela Vasquez.
Digitalization and sustainability. These were the key themes explored during the Business World Economic Forum 2023. Information and Communications Technology Secretary Ivan Uy opened the panel and discussed how digitalization is the key to greater financial inclusion.
The Philippine digital economy is promising an environment not only for its people, but more importantly also for its investors. I challenge every one of you to continue upskilling our workforce on ICT skills that will empower them to participate and become citizens in cyberspace.
The agency also touted that from $17 billion in 2021, the Philippine digital economy is projected to generate $25 billion by 2025. Uy said the agency will continue to expand connectivity in the country and to upskill Filipino workers to become ICT literate. The DICT is also aiming to attract more investments through digitalization. For corporations like 917 Ventures, digitalization is also the key to growth. The firm also wants to focus on improving not only brands but also the consumer experience.
We want to be the largest digital health tech platform without a physical hospital. We want to be the fifth largest financial institution without a physical bank. We want to be one of the largest educational providers without classrooms. So that's what we're trying to do to make these essential services accessible to Filipinos through digital.
However, financial institutions like BDO believe in the concept called Phygital, which stands for Physical plus Digital. It noted that while digitalization is important, physical presence is still vital in promoting financial inclusion to serve the underserved. The Basis Conversion and Development Authority or BCDA meanwhile highlighted the importance of digital infrastructure to transport and mobility. It also teased its smart mobility project in New Clark City, Pampanga, which would be first of its kind and is set to be launched within the year. In terms of agriculture, the DA admitted its shortcomings resulting in low productivity. With that, it calls on its partners, especially private sectors, to help in modernizing the agriculture sector.
We need to go, digitalize. First of all, to attract the young people to get into agriculture. We need the whole, whole of nation collaboration.
Ride-hailing apps Grab and Angkas also graced the forum. Both companies reiterated their commitment to improve technology to promote better services to the riding public. The two also mentioned that the rise of artificial intelligence or AI won't be a hindrance. Instead, Grab and Angkas will use it to their advantage to retool and reskill the workforce as well as make things simpler for the public. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
More on that forum. Artificial intelligence is seen to boost the Philippine economy by $90 billion. An executive from Microsoft Corporation says the country should take advantage of the opportunities presented by AI. This as he cites predictions from the Trade Department which show an AI tech contributing as much as $90 billion to the economy by 2030. According to Peter Macuera, Microsoft Asia Pacific CEO for the Philippines, the tech giant will release a study on AI's impact on the Philippines next week. Macuera also lists content generation, summarization, code generation, and semantic research among the potential businesses involving AI. Microsoft has invested in OpenAI, which developed the generative AI technology ChatGPT. More hot money exited the Philippines for a third straight month in April. Data shows that registered foreign portfolio investments posted a net outflow of $351.87 million last month. This is a five-fold increase from the $70 million outflow in March and the highest in 2 months or since February. Meanwhile, gross inflows in April fell by 68% to $712.83 million from the $2 billion a year prior. Economist Robert Dan Roses said the higher net outflow reflected worsening investor sentiment in the Philippines. Roses attributed this to elevated inflation and higher interest rates, which affect private consumption and economic growth. Foreign portfolio investments are commonly known as hot money, as it can enter and exit a jurisdiction with ease. And speaking of AI, TikTok says it is in its early stages of exploring chatbot tools and conducting tests with select users in the Philippines. In a tweet, TikTok explained that Taco is powered by a third-party chat assistant and is designed to help users discover, quote, entertaining and inspiring content on the app. However, the company says it has so far no plans for the chatbot beyond early tests. Israeli-based app intelligence firm Watchful Technology said it found Taco on some versions of the app. Watchful said the chatbot featured prominently on TikTok's interface as a ghost-shaped icon. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. President Bongbong Marcos is pushing for a free trade agreement with the European Union. Marcos Jr. called on the EU-ASEAN Business Council and European Economic Community to back the resumption of talks on the matter. Negotiations for an FTA between the Philippines and EU were held in 2016 and 2017, but no significant progress has been made.
The timing and conditions are now quite ripe for us to solidify the long-standing and historically beneficial trade relations through a bilateral Philippine-EU free trade agreement.
For Marcos Jr., the establishment of a bilateral free trade agreement is, quote, a win-win strategy for the two parties.
It promises to achieve mutually beneficial economic goals while maintaining consistency with the EU's core ideals of sustainable development and environment protection, as well as with EU's Indo-Pacific strategy.
PAL Holdings has appointed Lucio Tan III as its president. He will be taking over the post of his grandfather, Lucio Tan, who retained his role as chairman and CEO. PAL Holdings is the parent firm of Philippine Airlines and another subsidiary, Air Philippines Corporation. Tan III also serves as a chief operating officer and vice chairman of the LT Group concurrently. He also serves as President and Chief Operating Officer of Tanduay Distillers. In other news, President Bongbong Marcos joined the Navy in celebrating its 125th anniversary. During a program at the Navy's headquarters in Manila, Marcos Jr. commended its personnel for securing the Philippine archipelago, especially the West Philippine Sea. He voiced out his support for the enhancement of intelligence, defense, and coordinative capabilities of the military service. The President also led the commissioning ceremony for 2 new fast craft of the Navy.
Lahat yan ginagamit talaga natin pagpatrolya hindi lamang sa West Philippine Sea, kung hindi dun sa civil defense. Ito ay isasama na natin sa inventaryo ng ating mga barko para gagamitin both for defense from external forces and also for civil defense sa pagtulong sa mga disaster.
Super Typhoon Mawar has further intensified as it inches closer to the Philippine area of responsibility. As of 10 a.m., Pag-asa last spotted Mawar Center some 1,705 kilometers east of southeastern Luzon. It has maximum sustained winds of up to 215 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 260 kph. The super typhoon may enter the Philippine area of responsibility later tonight or tomorrow morning. Mawar will be locally named as Betty once it enters the PAR. Its eye is seen to be within 300 kilometers of the Batanes-Babuyan area by early next week. Mawar may start bringing heavy rains over northern Luzon by late Sunday or on Monday.
Possible na magdalan itong si Super Typhoon Mawar or si Super Typhoon Betty pagpasok ng PAR ng mga malalakas na mga pag-ulan sa may northern Luzon area simula sa araw ng Linggo. At possible din yung malalakas na hangin, especially sa may extreme northern Luzon at gayon din sa may northern Luzon area. So may possibility po na magtaas tayo ng tropical cyclone wind signal sa mga susunod pang mga araw.
For now, the southwesterly wind flow and localized thunderstorms are triggering rains in several areas. These include Metro Manila, Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, Soc-Sargen, and BARMM. Pag-asa warns of possible flash floods and landslides. President Bongbong Marcos assures the public that the government is on top of the situation and preparing for the possible effects of Super Typhoon Mawar. The President says the government is now gearing up for possible floods brought about by the heavy rains that entail a typhoon. The President says he has already met with Defense Secretary Carlito Galvez in laying down the necessary measures for when Mawar enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Mawar will be locally named as Betty once it enters the PAR.
We have been preparing for most of this week. We have already warned the LGUs to prepare in case of heavy rains and flooding. So ang aming ginagawa ay we leave it to the LGUs right now to make the call kung ano yung gagawin nila. Pero nandito lang sinasabi namin, the national government is here to assist. We are in constant contact with the local governments para makita natin what is the situation in their place. Pagka nakadaan na yung bagyo.
The Social Welfare Department says more than 1 million family food packs and over 300,000 non-food items have already been pre-positioned in all regions across the country. The DSWD also says it is continuously coordinating with local government units. And those are the top business stories of the hour. I'm Diego Castro. Join us again at 2 p.m. We are One News. All sides, all the time.